how that kind of happens is the fact that when they partner up with someone, that woman would often weaken him down into that position. And I know you read about that too, in terms of like turning a semi alpha dude into a beta male as a result. Why is that conditioning happening? Because I have several examples of people that I've seen that happen to. But how does that happen? How does that happen over time, I guess?
Yeah, the process is called betatization through 1,000 concessions, is the way that I would define it. And that's just a guy agreeing to uh, subsequent concessions over a long period of time. And it starts with
Mm,
something light, like when she says, "Hey, let's move in together," and he lives his life a certain way, and she's like, "Well, I don't like that the socks are in that one basket. Let's have a dark hamper for dark clothes and a white hamper for light clothes. So if you could please organize, your socks and not leave them on the floor and put them in the hamper." And then this is when a guy slowly starts to make some slow changes to his life to accommodate her. And women generally look at that and go, "Well, that's not wrong, Rich. Like that just makes sense. That's just a better way to organize stuff, right?" You're right. It probably is a better way to organize things. But if he's lived that way and he's 30 years old and he's been living that way for the last 10 years, that's one concession that he's made. Then it goes to the next concession and the next, and they pile up. And it goes from her looking at this guy as this strong, virtuous man that she once looked up to, that she admired, that she had enthusiastic, orgasmic sex with, to this guy 5 years down the road, through 5 years of concessions, small concessions that added up over time. He's basically now her little bitch. She ends up pussifying the man, and it's not like she does this intentionally. Like, women don't get up in the morning and say, "Right, I have to get up and pussify this motherfucker," sort of thing. Like, this isn't how women operate, but it's them trying to make sure everything is orderly within the nest, right?
mm,
And it's incumbent upon men to set boundaries and be firm with those boundaries, and not, yield to all these little tests and concessions that are being required of them. I'll give you an example. I take a lot of supplements. I have a supplement line, obviously, if you guys have
mhm.
followed my channel, and I just keep my pill bottles out on my counter in my kitchen. And my girlfriend hates it. She's like, "Why can't we put them away? Why can't we put them in a tray? Can we put them in a lazy Susan?" I'm like, "No, that's where they are. It's convenient for me. They're not moving. I have them out, so I know that I have to take them, and I can easily see which ones I have to take, and that's it. End of story." Right? But the vast majority of men will be like, "Okay, you know, what do you want to do? You want to put in a lazy Susan? Whatever you want, babe." Right? And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like that's not going to dry her up. She's not going to hate you because of that. But if you do that 50 times, 100 times, 300 times, with small concessions here and there, all of a sudden she's going to get up one day and look at you and be like, "This guy's a bitch."
Yeah. And the guy's going to take less risk overall. So I think on a micro
He gets
scale, that
softer.
exactly. So on a micro
Yeah.
scale, that works really well. But for me, this dials into so much different aspects. We went back to the physical, the mental, or like let's say the pursuit of something. So, and then when we get older, it's usually like a business that's in pursuit of. It feels like that when I look at people who are older than me, they've closed themselves into this perspective so that they don't take the risk, don't ever want to go and pursue something. They fall out of their health and fitness. They blame it on actually having a child. You might have
Mhm.
some, people be like, "Oh, I'm having a kid. I can't go to the gym anymore," and then they
Well, one of
fall
the
into that
interesting things that happens to men when they have a family, when they have children, is their testosterone levels drop.
because it's just more of a female like environment.
It's well, there's experts that suggest that it happens so that men don't run off and that they stay with the child to raise and protect the child, because men are more apt to have more promiscuous sex with a bunch of women if they have super high testosterone, right?
Mm,
So one of the things that happens, when the children come along, is his testosterone levels drop, which is why he gets less aggressive. He may chase less excellence. He may be less interested in going to the gym or maintaining combat sports. That's when he starts to put, like, there's the dad bod. There's no 20-year-old bod. There's no teen bod. There's only dad bods, right?
hundred
So,
percent.
so it's one of those interesting things that happens from an evolutionary, perspective. And I would even argue part of the reasons why a man's testosterone level drops when he gets in a long-term relationship and has a family and gets married and all that too, is because he goes through that betatization through 1,000 concessions. You can't be a strong, virtuous man that runs a family, his life, and he leads it, if he's constantly saying yes, 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 yes to every little thing that she wants him to do.
Hmm. That's crazy. It's like you know, like kind of penny drops in that effect, because it's like, it's almost like an excuse. You do it and it's an excuse. Now
Yeah.
he's fat, lazy, low tests, and just very easy to fall over as a result, and not necessarily still have that pursuit of things. And I don't know, it's something to be very mindful of as I'm getting a little bit older. But it's funny because as I've gotten older, my test has actually increased. Would you believe?
Mhm.
I had a podcast recently where I actually went through it with a guy, because I don't drink alcohol. I have a very strict diet. I have a coach. I'm in sun. You know, I'm always out. My life is more driven towards health than and the business than
Mhm.
it is towards slowing down, because I think, you know, similar enough personality type is that my biggest fear, I don't know how you feel about this, is that of slowing down. I don't want to be someone who slows down, whether
Mhm.
physically or mentally, um, because isn't that just a shame that you don't live up to the potential you can go and do?
There's only two states in life, I believe, and it's growing or dying. You can't stand still. So you have to lean into growth. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.